What is up, you guys? My name is Austin Marks and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm currently a respiratory therapist who is pursuing the physician assistant career path. On my channel I make videos talking about respiratory therapy as well as my journey to becoming a PA. So if you guys want to see all that, make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell button. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the GRE. I'm going to be talking about my experience taking it, and next week I'm going to be posting a video talking about the formatting, what it's like, the scoring, things like that. Today's video is just going to be my experience. So the GRE stands for the Graduate Record Examination. So a lot of PA schools require this. A lot of the ones that I'm looking at require anyhow, so that's why I had to go ahead and take it. I'm going to reveal my score in a little bit. I'm going to tell you that I didn't do as good as I expected. There are definitely things that I wish I would have done and things that I wish I wouldn't have done. So overall, I did not have the greatest grasp on everything. So when I took my respiratory boards, I felt great going into it. I was getting about 90% of the questions correct on all the practice exams. However, that wasn't the case with the GRE. I'm not one for test anxiety. However, I definitely had anxiety going into this test. I didn't feel the greatest. I wish I would have given myself a little bit more time to study. I gave myself about a month. I used Magoosh as well as one other book. I'm going to go ahead and reveal that. But I just wish I would have gone over everything a little bit more. So I was doing practice problems. I did practice problem after practice problem. However, I never went back and really reviewed these practice problems. So I would see another question that was in the same format, and I would either know how to do it or I would have to reteach myself again. So instead of going back to the original one and relearning how to do every single problem over again, I just kept doing them and doing them and doing them, and I felt like this was a mistake on my end. I highly recommend that you keep doing problems over and over again, but I recommend that you also go back and review why you got them wrong. So I would highly consider doing this for the vocab portion as well as the math portion. So the vocab, you want to understand the words and how they're used in context. So I memorized about 500 vocab words. Yes, this is a lot. Once again, I felt like I didn't have the greatest grasp on them. I definitely knew the 50 to 100 most common words for the GRE. However, there are a lot more than that. This goes along with reading comprehension. I understood reading comprehension. I was pretty good at it. However, I wish I would have gone back and understand why I got certain questions wrong, because the GRE likes to word things to the nitty-gritty, and two answers may look pretty identical. However, one is correct and one is not. Another thing that I did that I wish I wouldn't have done was I would get a certain practice problem and I'd kind of look over and be like, this is kind of hard. It's not going to be on the test. Well, guess what? It came up on the test and I had no idea how to do it, so I most likely got it wrong. So I took about 3 practice exams before I actually took the GRE. I was getting around the 300 on all of them. However, I ended up getting a 292 on the GRE itself. So some of you thinking, that score is iffy. However, for PA school, you definitely need to score higher than a 300. And 300 was what I was aiming for. I figured with all my other stats, I could slide by with 300. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to study for it again and take it this summer. So I'm going to study for about 3 months this time instead of 1. I also have a lot more books I'm going to study from. So the weekend before, my buddy got a bunch of books because he's also going to take the GRE. So he let me use these books, and I'm going to go ahead and show you them now. So like I said, I used Magoosh for the 1 month, and then I also studied this book here for about a week. However, the rest of the books came in 2 days before I took the GRE, and I had no way of going over all of this information in 2 days. So mainly what I did was I went over the ETS book here. They're the ones who make the exam, so I figured why not study from their book. So they have 2 practice exams within the book itself as well as 2 online. So I did the 2 practice exams online as well as the Kaplan practice exam, and those were the ones that I was getting 300 on. So since I was getting a 300 on the ETS practice exam, I figured, okay, I got this. However, that wasn't the case, as I told you. So I studied from this book for about a week, I said. I felt like this book was really good. It had 2 practice exams within the book itself. It went over how to take the quantitative section as well as the verbal section. So it told you what to write for the essays and what not to write. It also had practice essays, so it had what a 1 looked like, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I could see the difference between a 4 and a 6 as what I needed to do and what I needed to not do. So I didn't really go over any of these other books. I kind of skimmed over it to just kind of look at the vocab to make sure that it was kind of similar. Some of it was, however, there were also words I had never seen before. When I took the GRE itself, there were words that I've never seen before. So definitely a lot of vocab, because I said I studied over 500 and there were words I had no idea what they were. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the link to all these books in the description below, so you guys can go ahead and pick and choose. When I take the test again, I'm going to go ahead and make another video talking about my experience and what book that I think is the best to use. So another thing that I did that I really wish I wouldn't have done was the day before the exam, I worked a 16-hour shift. Yeah. Dumb move on my portion. I got about 6 hours of sleep. I highly recommend you do not do this. So I suggest that you get about 8 hours of sleep. Arrive to the testing center anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour early. The ETS suggests that you get there 30 minutes early. However, once you get there, you can go ahead and sign in and start. So the earlier you get there, the earlier you can be done. I also recommend that you drink plenty of water before you go. Not enough so you have to pee every 5 minutes, but enough so your brain can stay functioning. Also, make sure that you use the bathroom before you start. I didn't run into this problem, thank the Lord, but definitely use the bathroom. They also give you a 10-minute break about halfway through the GRE, so you can go ahead and use the bathroom then. I also recommend that you bring a snack such as grapes or a granola bar or something, and go ahead and munch on a little bit, because if you have an upset stomach during a test, it is not a good thing. I also recommend that you eat a nice healthy breakfast, so maybe a banana, a couple other fruits, something like that. Some takeaways from this video is to make sure that you go over all your practice problems, understand why you're getting things wrong, and give yourself anywhere from 2 to 3 months to go ahead and study. I know some people will study for a week and they'll take the test and they'll do awesome. However, that's not the case for me. I need to practice. Take lots of practice exams. So there have been several studies that this is the #1 key factor to student success, is taking practice exams. So I recommend anywhere from 4 to 6 practice exams. I know this is a lot of time because each test is 4 hours long. However, if you want to do good, go ahead and take practice exams. Make sure you get a good night's rest before you take the GRE and arrive early. Anyway, I hope this video helped. I hope you learned from mistakes. I hope you don't do what I did, and I'll see you guys in the next one.